these instruments we're playing, the Power Mark 20, the Power Mark 10, these are all Daion instruments, or Japanese instruments made in the late 70s and early 80s. The company went out of business in 1984, 83, 84. We are extremely lucky to have Mr. Hiro Teradaira here with us, the designer of these instruments and basically the creator. I mean, we would not have these, we're very fortunate to be able to meet him in person. I mean, this is like, meeting Leo Fender or Orville Gibson. This is a big deal to musicians, it's like, this is our thing. And I'm not a newcomer to these instruments. I bought my first Daion Savage bass in 1982, brand new, for $400. And unfortunately, it was stolen in 1991 out of my car. So I could not find one. We didn't have an internet or anything, couldn't look anything up, so I just had to go buy some basses. I went and bought some stuff to give me free. And then, as luck would have it, my basses got stolen again in 2003, and they took everything I had. Well, I decided, remember these old Daion neck-through Mark 20 basses, and they were really nice, but they were incredibly expensive brand new. They were twice the price of like a Fender or something. They were really expensive because they were really nice. Maybe I can go find one of these things. So I got on the internet and looked around, and sure enough, in the early days of eBay, there was one in Nashville, Tennessee, 2.5 hours away from me. I hit the guy up, and got in my car and drove up there and picked it up that night. Drove home, started playing ball. Oh boy, this is nice. Now if I could just find a fretless bass like this, and I found a green fretless bass like that, guess what happened? That one got stolen too, yeah. So I had to get another one. I had to buy another fretless bass. I mean, believe it or not, I've owned 2 Daion fretless bass, Mark 20 fretless basses. I've heard rumors there was about 90 of them ever built in the world, and I managed to own 2 of them. Very fortunate. And that's what I play now. My main basses are the probably 80% of the time I'm playing my Power Mark 20, and the other part of the time I'm playing some other things. I got a 12-string hammer, a fretted black Mark 20 also play. But very fortunate to have these things. Very fortunate to have Hiro with us. That's where the whole thing got started. Anyway, when I bought that guitar, I started looking up on the internet, and there was no information at all. You could find anything on a Daion guitar. Come on, help us out here. And so I just finally decided, you know what? I'm going to start a Daion website. Woo! So I started a little website called Daion's Online, and I just made my cheesy little thing with a little thing that they had on the internet for your website there. And it's terrible, but it started attracting people. People started, sending me messages, emails and stuff. And we started chatting, and one of the first people that contacted me, I guess in the first year, was a fellow named Scott Pelking, who I'm sure Hiro-san here can tell you about. Scott Pelking. He's a wonderful guy. He was actually one of the big wigs at MCI, the distributor in the United States for Daions. So he gave me the name of this guy. He said, he's the whole stories. And there was this guy named Hiro Teradaira, and he was the one that designed these instruments. And at that point in time, this is like 2003, 2004, like, I got to keep that name in my mind. So we kept researching things, and we were saying, all of a sudden I hit this one page one day that gave the whole story, and his name came up again. I'm like, we're getting somewhere now. So we got to that, and then we started doing, a few years later, some things came up, and this fellow contacted me, Michael Bechmann contacted me, and he and I started doing research together. And I said, this is the guy we need to be looking for, this Mr. Hiro. And we kept looking, and we kept looking, and we kept looking. And the problem was, we were Googling, and every time you Googled that name, this radio personality in Japan came up. And we couldn't find anything about a guitar guy because this radio guy kept coming up and kept coming up. This went on for about a year.
No, 4 years.
Yeah, for 4 years, for a long time. Anyway, finally one day, we're sitting there chatting together and looking at stuff, and Michael goes, wow, it's him. And he discovered in one of Hiro's diaries that, he built guitars in the 80s. And so we sent him an email, and I'm surprised. This guy's a big deal in Japan. You don't understand. This is not just some dude. This guy's a big deal in Japan. This is a rock star in Japan. So we're like, is he going to answer an email from some dude in Copenhagen? We don't know. We're going to Denmark. We're going to find out. So he did. He answered. We started having little conversations, and we started talking about things, And next thing you know, we came up with this idea earlier this year that maybe we would just do a get together.
Yay.
little get together.
Just a bunch of us get together and have some fun. And we just say, he mentioned, well, we'll do this in Copenhagen. And he just happened to mention it to Hiro here, and guess what Hiro said? I'll see you there. He retired from his radio job, and now he's got nothing to do except travel around and hang out with us. That's what we're going to carry him all around the world now. But enormous thanks to him for these guitars, and tell you a little bit about this one. This was one of the first designs. This was the 78. This is a 12-string version. It's got a cedar top, rosewood side and back, mahogany neck. It's an amazing guitar. The really amazing thing is they stay in tune. I mean, you can leave these things under a bed for 6 months if you're crazy enough to, and it'll stay in tune. But I'm going to play just a couple of weird things. Some of this may not be exactly blues. Y'all ever heard of a guy named Jimmy Rogers? Yeah. Jimmy Rogers was blues before, like, the big guys, like Robert Johnson. Y'all know who Robert Johnson is, right? Yes. Robert Johnson is the man Crossroads was written about, and also he was the mysterious blues player from Mississippi. Well, I've seen one true blues man in my life, and that was a fellow named Johnny Shines. Y'all ever heard of Johnny Shines? Johnny Shines was from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Now, in this world, there are 3 pictures of Robert Johnson in existence. Johnny Shines is in 2 of them. I saw him in a little bar called the Nicks, a wonderful little place in Birmingham, has been there forever. And it was this guy, who was Robert Johnson's friend in the 20s, with an acoustic guitar, archtop acoustic guitar, and a microphone. And to this day, it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. It was chilling. It was just unbelievable. So good. And the only person I've seen since then is close. If you ever get to see a guy named Cedric Burnside. He's a young guy, he's probably 35 or so, young black guy, and he can do the same thing. He has that same ability. It's really neat. If you Cedric Burnside, if you get a chance to see him, make sure you check him out. So anyway, I'm going to do a Jimmy Rogers song. The cool thing about Jimmy Rogers is people don't think much about Jimmy Rogers. Well, Jimmy Rogers was 13 years old when Robert Johnson was born. Jimmy Rogers, if anything, taught Robert Johnson some things. I always thought it was, I had no idea, I always thought it was, started researching, yeah. Jimmy Rogers was actually older and was done by the time basically that Robert Johnson started. I'm going to do a song by Jimmy Rogers who was known as the yodeling brakeman. Now, y'all are also in for a treat because I can't yodel. I'm not going to try to yodel. I'm going to do one of his songs that doesn't really quite involve yodeling. I'm going to do a song by him called the TB Blues. It's a real uplifting number, real fantastic thing. So let's see how this goes. I apologize, I'm not really a bass player, I'm a guitar player, and I'm not really a singer. So let's just see what happens here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Girls try to make a fool out of me. Well, my good girls try to make a fool out of me. They're trying to make me believe I ain't got that on TV. I got the TV, blue. Sorrow, it rained all over me. Well, it rain down over me. Got my body wrapped like a train on the old SP. I got the tea, looks like I'm gonna lose. I've been fighting like a lion. Looks like I'm gonna lose. 'Cause there ain't nobody ever with the TV blues. I got the TV. It's such a lonesome place. Well, but that graveyard, it's such a lonesome place. They put you on your back and they throw mud in your face. I got the tea.